Opinion. Today I am reviewing the new Broadway production, Illinoise, with music and lyrics by Sufjan Stevens, book by Justin Peck and Jackie Sibblies Drury, directed and choreographed by Justin Peck, running through August 10th at St. James Theater at 246 West 44th Street in New York City. Keep things dancing and moving by becoming a patron over on my Patreon page, where you can, for as little as $1 a month, help me meet expenses for this show and my classic cinema podcast, Yesterday's Matinee. Thank you to my current patrons, especially my Neo and Hamilton tier patrons, and welcome to the new ones. I'll leave a link in the description.
North of Savannah, we swim in the Palisades. I come out wearing my brother's red hat. There on his shoulder, my best friend is bit 7 times. He runs washing his face in his hands. Oh, great sights upon his state. Hallelujah, does night and rivers play. Hallelujah, we're in love, I can't explain the state that I'm in, the state of my heart. He was my best friend.
Well, this is it, the last Tony-nominated show I've yet to see. If you're wondering where my Merrily We Roll Along and Hell's Kitchen reviews are, I reviewed them while they were running off-Broadway. Merrily can be found in my 2022-23 off-Broadway playlist, and Hell's Kitchen in my 2023-24 off-Broadway playlist. I have one more Broadway show to review this season, Huey Lewis's The Heart of Rock and Roll, which didn't get any Tony nominations, but it did get a Drama Desk nomination, which I'm a member of, and I have seen it, and the review for it should be coming out Saturday, May 4th. Marketed as a new Broadway musical, Illinoise is really a ballet. The cast only sings moderately a few lines here and there from certain songs, but it's not a musical in the traditional sense for sure. What it is a beautiful expression of love and resilience through the interrelationship and vulnerability of an accepting community. Based on the 2005 album Illinois by the show's composer Sufjan Stevens, the story follows Henry, played by Ricky Ubeda, a young man from the middle of nowhere, Illinois, carrying a heavy burden of some sort. He finds a community of people who like to gather in the woods to commune and fellowship with each other by reading their diaries or journals with each other. Initially reticent in sharing his story, Henry listens to the tales told by other members of the group. Morgan, played by Rachel Lockhart, tells her story of family and faith. Joe Davies, played by Jeanette Delgado, tells a zombie tale about the Founding Fathers. Wayne, played by Alejandro Vargas, tells a story about John Wayne Gacy Jr., and Clark, played by Brant Martinez, tells a story about Superman and vulnerability. With the encouragement of the group, Henry tells his story, which ends up being the central narrative of the show. He is friends with Carl, played by Ben Cook, who is in a relationship with Shelby, played by Gaby Diaz. Carl and Henry decide to move away to New York City, where Henry meets and falls in love with Douglas, played by Hamad Simmons. Carl decides to return to Chicago, where tragedy occurs. If you have any questions along the way, it's okay. Peck or someone on his team had the brilliant idea of having Henry's journal in an insert in a playbill. I highly recommend getting to the theater early to read it so that you have more insight on what you're watching before the show begins. Since this is an original tale, unlike Sleeping Beauty or Romeo and Juliet, for example, this isn't a story that people may initially understand as to what's happening and who the people are. This insert goes a long way in developing that for you. Still, I didn't read it ahead of time, and Peck's choreography, coupled with the performances by the actors, make the story visually clear. There is also the music, which helps. Unlike classical ballets, this one has vocalists singing lyrics throughout. Frankly, as lovely as everyone sounded, the lyrics aren't exactly necessary, as the music and the dancing itself is able to tell the story without it. Like I said before, this is inspired by an album which has lyrics, so I understand why the lyrics are there. That all being said, it definitely helps elevate the narrative in a mostly expressive lyrical manner. That is, when the lyrics are intelligible, My biggest gripe of the show is that the balance of the audio the night I was in attendance was a bit off, and the band overpowered the three vocalists, who all have character names. Barsine, played by Shara Nova, Nakna, played by Tasha Vietz Van Leer, and Arctini, played by Elijah Lyons. They all sound wonderful. I just wish I was able to hear the lyrics a bit more clearly. Regardless of the sound balance, I love the music. Timo Andres' orchestrations and arrangements are some of my favorite of the year, creating a rich variety of scoring to Sufjan Stevens' gorgeous score with about a dozen musicians playing an array of instruments from keyboards and guitars to vibraphones, banjos, and accordions. It all works in a beautiful sweeping blend of modern pop folk world music sound that evokes the fantastic and the realistic within the show. Much of the production's success is due to Brandon Sterling Baker's lighting design, with Adam Rigg's scenic design, the use of a digital billboard and an upstage wall that has written on its locations where the characters are, help bring a sense of location for the audience when it's telling its story. With a cast full of dancer actors, the ensemble evoke emotions from the erotic to the tragic, from joy to despair. Much of the credit goes to Peck and the casting, but of course the cast have to do this 95-minute show 8 times a week, and they do so with exhilaration. Ben Cook, Ricky Ubeda, and Ahmad Simmons in particular are luminous on stage and a joy to watch. I know the show has gotten a lot of positive reviews, and they're well-deserved. I get that purely dance shows or ballets aren't going to be everyone's cup of tea because there's a degree of interpretation involved that has to be done on the part of the audience, but I can't encourage everyone enough to come and see this show. Illinoise is an amazing show about a hurting young man who learns to be vulnerable with a community and finds love, acceptance, and empathy, and for himself, strength and forgiveness. One of my top picks of the season, go see Illinoise. But I am only one man's opinion, so be sure to leave yours in the comments below. If you'd like to see Illinoise, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get tickets. Also in the description will be a link to my Patreon page. Please feel free to visit that as well. You can also support my channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and click the notification bell to be alerted to future reviews. My next review will be the new Broadway musical, The Heart of Rock and Roll. Thank you for watching, and I will see you at the theater.